Hey, Michael Fedland here, and here is what MAGA is forgetting in this whole argument that's going on in America right now. To them, it's about left versus right, okay? Well, that's pretty stupid because really it's about America versus the world. That's not, that's a whole bigger issue than whether your philosophy governs our country, because what really matters is the president's job is to make sure America is leading the world in education, in technology, both civil and military, defense, obviously, and our infrastructure, which is old and falling apart. So guess what, MAGA? Whether it's left or right and all these other things you seem to be worried about, here's what's going on in the world today. At the beginning of 2025, America had been rebuilt out of the shambled mess that Biden inherited with COVID and the end of the Trump administration and a record $8 trillion in debt. And by the time he handed it off to Trump, we had the envy of the world economy. Inflation had dropped down to under 3%. Things were stable. He created over 15 million jobs. Yeah, Sleepy Joe was so asleep. He created 15 million jobs after Trump had lost 3 million in his first term. All right. So guess what? Biden passed an infrastructure bill spending $1 trillion on repairing our rusting bridges and our falling apart potholed roads that nobody else had done for decades. Trump didn't do it in his first term. He gave more trillions to the rich, and then he added another $4 trillion to the rich again in his second term, while gutting our healthcare, while gutting our science programs, while gutting our space program, and basically introducing tariffs that only do one thing. They raise prices, you, the consumer, pays for them, and it cuts jobs, it slows the thing. On top of that, his immigration policies are wiping out the labor that Americans themselves would not do, like working the farms, picking the crops, in the nasty meat packing plants, all that kind of stuff. And as a result, we have farmers now, their crops are rotting in the field. And so your grocery prices are going to go up even more because there's less produce. The farmers are hurting. They've been stung. Each time this guy's been president, he's got into a pissing contest with China. And China cuts off buying the pork and soybeans from us, our farmers, and they go to Brazil or some other country. So guess what? Now he wants to also control the Fed, which means he could totally gut our economy. The Fed is designed to be independent rather than some guy getting in there saying, hey, I want you to cut interest rates no matter what, which would result in more inflation, stagflation, making us look like one of these third world countries where you have, 1,000% inflation, because it's a political decision instead of an economic decision. So basically, what we have now, tell me, MAGA, how any of this is making us great. How does giving China the lead in clean energy because Trump, for some odd reason, hates windmills and solar panels? Hello? I mean, it's non-polluting. They're cheaper to build than these big fossil fuel plants. They're not overheating the planet like, burning fossil fuel does. How does that make us a leader in the world? And it drives up the cost of your electricity. Hello? Especially as these AI data centers consume more and more electricity without the renewables. Solar panels on your roof or wind turbines, whatever, then you're going to be paying higher interest rates. And so guess what? Europe has solved these issues. Free college. So their people are higher educated and they don't have lifelong debt at our mafia interest rates that no matter what you do, you can pay off the loan and you still owe 2 or 3 times that amount because of the mafia interest rates. Forget it. We need to have free college. And while everybody else in Europe, etc., has universal health care, so you're not going to die from needing an operation with no insurance or be saddled with medical debt that you can't discharge in bankruptcy because Republicans said you can no longer discharge medical debt in bankruptcy. They have no issues there because they've got universal health care, which we need. Instead, what Trump's doing here, gutting Medicaid, gutting health care, getting rid of all of our science on, trying to cure disease, getting rid of vaccines. Hello, what are we going to do? Go back to 16th century and bleed people and because you don't believe in science? And our vaccines were the envy of the world during COVID. We had the mRNA vaccine. It's not a dead virus. It was much more effective, saved millions of lives. The million who didn't have it died from COVID, just in America, not to mention the rest of the world. So how does bringing back measles and getting rid of vaccines make us great? No. So stop thinking small, Americans. You got to get the big picture. I mean, I got the privilege of traveling the world for large companies, my early career. And I could see where, our transportation system was versus Europe and China, where I rode a maglev, 265 miles an hour, doesn't even touch the rails. It's magnets hovering on magnets. And we can't even get anything better than Amtrak going. This is not making us great. It's making us small. We cannot lead the world by being the least educated. 54% of Americans now read at the 6th grade level. That's scary. That they really don't even read at the 12th grade level, which should be the thing if you got a high school degree, right? That's not going to make us a leader versus China or Europe if we don't have educated people that, can come up with inventions and keep us ahead of the competition. Now, Trump has given away our lead to China, which is a communist country. I don't care for us. They're using capitalism to make a lot of money, and they're investing in infrastructure and globally to get the rare earth minerals and that. They have 5-year plans. We don't even have a 1-month plan in America. How are you going to compete when you don't have a plan versus somebody who thinks long term? So, MAGA, you need to wake up. Trump is not your savior. In fact, he's burning all you supporters. In fact, the other day he said, no intelligent people, like me. Does that kind of tell you that he thinks you're dumb and basically, smart people don't like me? Yeah, because they know what's going on and what he's doing to wreck us, our greatness that has been there for a very long time. But now it's all being sabotaged by a very sick old man who really doesn't even have the time know what the hell's going on. That's not going to make America great. China and Russia laugh at him now. Israel laughs at him. They all know he's a clown and a fool. Putin called him the useful idiot back in the day, and he's proven to be a very useful idiot. So, America, we got to get smart here. Get rid of the dumb leaders. Stop electing these crazy people. Frankly, the only people the party that's really cared for the little guy was the Democratic Party. Joe Biden's infrastructure bill created jobs for the little guy in 50,000 projects, rebuilding roads and bridges and all that. But Trump, he walks in, first thing he does is, claims credit for what Biden did, but he doesn't invest in that. No, he gives trillions to the rich. And so guess what? Less health care for you, more money for the trillionaires out there who are going to buy another yacht and 10 more houses in Europe. And, there you are high and dry. That's not bringing jobs to America. tariffs are not bringing, so pitiful few jobs. We're not going to grow coffee or bananas and all these things he's putting the tariff on coming in here, but it's definitely going to raise prices. The little guy gets hit the worst. So wake up, MAGA. Wake up, America. Trump is bad news. The Republican Party is letting them do this. They've got the little guy in favor of just the powerful and the rich. That's not going to make us great. Being dummies and the least educated country in the world is not going to make us great. So wake up your skills. I'm 75. I'm still upgrading my skills. Why can't you? Yeah, I can even run a damn computer. Woohoo! Yeah. So, Michael Fetland, till next time.